Hey folks, and welcome to War Thunder with Flying Dodo. In my continuation of low-tier American aircraft tutorials, I'll be flying out the F4U-1a at a battle rating of 2.7. There's a link above the comments section for those wanting to check out the series regarding earlier American planes. As you can see here, someone thought it would be funny to squad up 3 P-26s and bring them into the game. At first I was kind of pissed they'd taken up 3 slots in this match, but then again, with the usual behavior of pilots of US planes, it probably made no difference to the outcome of this fight. I mean, at least these guys started out by climbing. Today, the map is Bastogne, and I'm flying out with my buddy CaptainHeiser again. So, like most matches, I begin to climb away from the center of the map to try to give myself some altitude advantage, or at least parity in altitude or energy, by the time I meet with the enemy. While not the best climber in the US tech tree, it's also not the worst, and maintains relatively good performance at most altitudes you'll find yourself fighting at, even near ground level. Speaking of ground level, in a moment you'll see that the entire match actually ends up taking place at damn near ground level. By the time we start to engage, there are only 3 of us left versus 7 of the enemy. That's me, CaptainHeiser, and a random teammate, Mr. Selrick. CaptainHeiser and I don't engage the enemy until 7 minutes into the match, and while our team is dead, at least they brought the Germans low for us to start with a very good altitude and energy advantage. Very quickly, before I cut to where the fight starts in the video, let's go over a few things about the F4U-1a to keep in mind while fighting. First, like many other American planes, speed is king. This plane has great dive speed and stability, and very good straight line speed. It doesn't really lock up much at speed and retains its energy well. Use those attributes to get you in and out of situations fast. All you need is a little patience to get yourself in an energy advantage over the enemy, whether that's speed, altitude, or both. Second, this plane does turn pretty well, at least initially. In an emergency at low speed, deploying both combat flaps and air brake can get you to turn inside a faster moving enemy at least for a short while. So do what you can to get out of those situations as quickly as possible. Third, like most American planes, it has a very sturdy airframe which can take a lot of G's and a lot of abuse. Fourth, it has a fair bit of ammo with 6 50 cals. As I've said before, performance of the 50 cals is all over the map, generally speaking. In this particular match, it's like I invited the Germans to a barbecue, and bratwurst and sauerkraut are what's on the menu. As I noted earlier, our teammates had brought the enemy down to ground level, so CaptainHeiser and I started coming in at high speed and picking targets. I've singled out this BF-109 and start moving in. He's low but moving pretty fast. I cut back throttle a bit to keep from diving too fast, but as you can see, even at over 700 kilometers per hour, this plane is very stable. I miss my shots, misjudging how fast he's going. But it's not a problem. I pull straight up and roll over to come back down behind him. I expected him to continue running to try to force an overshoot or initiate a dogfight, but instead he pulls straight up to try to force a head-on as I dive on him. His angle of attack is bad and he's now an easy target. He bursts into flame, then his pilot is killed, and there's the first kill. I've got 2 109s behind me, one very close at similar altitude and one about 3 clicks out at about 800 meters above me. I extend and continue straight to gain some speed back, but my wingman CaptainHeiser is between them and he pulls the closest 109 off me. CaptainHeiser's attack somehow confuses the closest 109 and that pilot decides to go into a steep climb. I turn back in to try to take advantage of his mistake. His plane is at a very low speed. I make a connection and knock out his pilot. That's kill number 2. Now Russo turns in to attack me while I'm in this vulnerable low speed position, but he can't get a firing solution. I've hit flaps and I'm turning hard to attempt to get away from him. Russo tries to make another pass at me, but CaptainHeiser takes him out. Mr. Selrick had distracted Night Dragon for a moment, but now the 109 pilot had gotten on CaptainHeiser's 6, and the 4th 109, Shaylin, had joined that chase. CaptainHeiser saved my ass just a moment ago, and now has the attention of 2 109s on his 6. I follow the 109s, but Heiser is in a bad situation. I light the trailing 109 on fire and try to get my sights on the other. I finally light him on fire and pilot snipe, but not before he takes out my wingman. Shaylin had maintained control through the fire, so I continue firing and take off his left wing. Sorry, CaptainHeiser, I tried. I just wasn't fast enough to rescue you. The sight of 2 flaming 109s does warm the heart, though. That's kills number 3 and 4. Now, I may have been on my cups a bit during this match, and I was pretty bummed out that I lost CaptainHeiser, so I swore revenge and promised to take out the remaining enemy and claim victory. I have to say that Mr. Selrick proved himself a good supporting teammate for much of this match. Kudos to you, Mr. Selrick. Captain and I were talking in chat during this, and I was considering returning to base, but decided to just go win the match after noticing that the last two players were bombers. I spot the Ju-88 low and move in for the kill. I pull alongside at higher altitude, trying to get into a good position to perform a high-speed pass. Approaching bombers can be tricky at low altitude, and it's important to not stay in one position for too long. I make a couple passes, making some hits. Mr. Selrick is firing at the bomber too. I avoid most of his gunner shots, but the bomber does a pretty good job at keeping his rear gunners on me. I do my best not to stay behind him too long. I damage an engine or something, and eventually he goes down. Kill number 5. I spot the last player, an FW-200, and move to intercept. A quick burst and I take out an engine. Perform an Immelman and roll to come back down on top and light another fire. His plane explodes, and that's kill number 6. As you can see in this video, with good teamwork, this plane can be very effective, even against planes that are, in my opinion, superior in most aspects, as long as you play to the F4U-1a's strengths, namely speed. While you can maneuver in dogfights with some reliability for short periods of time, exiting heavy maneuvering and regaining speed as soon as possible will help you keep an advantage even at low altitudes. The 50 cals performed pretty well this match, and the random number generator gods decided it was bonfire day and served up a bunch of crispy fiery Germans to me. I hope you found this video instructional and entertaining. Feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Have a great day.